favorite guests, and one of yours is Carroll, yoga. And as always, Kane, it is so good to see you. How have you been? We haven't seen you in a while.
It's been a while, yeah. Since I've been on the show last time, I was in China for a month studying there. I've been all over the country in the last couple of months teaching. I'm doing great. The studio's doing great, and I miss you guys.
And Yogashala is the name of your?
That's right. Yogashala down on Gurley Street. Come in and take classes. We've got classes 7 days a week. It's a great time to get into doing some yoga. We were talking a little bit before we came on that season change happening right now. We've seen some warm, weather this last bit. We're on our way into some cooler weather. The wind coming, fall, winter time. It's a time when people typically see some respiratory problems. A lot of people see their immune system get compromised or challenged, at least traveling with the holidays, being around lots of people, family, eating, all that. So it's a really good time to focus on your breathing.
Kane, will this help, like even flu symptoms?
Absolutely. I mean, my theory with the flu season is just avoid it. And what we do in yoga is when you know a season change is coming, that's when you ramp up your immune system. You really dial things in. So if you do some of these exercises, they're very simple. You can do them standing or seated. They'll help increase your immune power, and they'll also increase your lung capacity. So it really helps you deal with stress of traveling. Seasonal changes are stressful on the body, and also just the holidays and stuff can be stressful for people.
So what do we do, and how do we do it?
So the first, what we're going to do is go through 3 different phases of breathing. Most people breathe high up in their lungs, and what we want to do is start breathing down into the belly. So what I want people to do is just take their hands and put their hands right over their navel and press on your belly a little bit firm. You're going to breathe in slowly and push your hands out. So you breathe in, push your hands out, hold your breath for a second, and then breathe out, push your belly back in. And just do this for a couple of minutes. You're actually pressing kind of hard on your abdomen. Another way to do this at home is to lay down and put a 5-pound weight on your belly, or put a little sandbag on your belly, a little bag of rice they would do in the old days. Put it right on your belly.
Does that hurt anything inside?
No way. In fact, what this does is it massages your intestines and it strengthens your abdominal wall. So what we're trying to do here is we're trying to provoke diaphragmatic breathing. Most people are breathing up here using their secondary respiration muscles, which lift the rib cage up, but they don't expand the rib cage out. So this gets us rooted down in our belly, which is where we should be breathing. Okay, so the first exercise, breathe in, press the belly out, hold for a second, breathe out, press the belly back in. And just get this primary pump, I like to call it, happening. Once that's happening, and you can feel it and see it moving, you're going to move your hands up right to the bottom of your lower ribs. And you're going to hook it like this. You're going to breathe in, and you're going to push the ribs out. You're going to breathe out, push the ribs in. Okay? And when I say push, you're doing that with your breath. The hands are just there to give you some sensation. And this one will really increase a person's lung capacity. So you breathe in, and you see how wide the ribs get as you breathe out, and the ribs narrow significantly. Okay? If I look at someone, and I look at people all the time, this is what I do, is I assess people's bodies and help them breathe better. Typically, this is what you see. Take a breath in.
Yeah.
Breathe out. Nothing happens here, and nothing happens here.
Oddly enough, the first rule in broadcasting is to breathe.
Right, so you can project your voice. Exactly. Same with acting, same with martial arts. This applies to any. This will increase your performance in whatever you do. So 1, 2, then we finish with this. This is the top off, I like to call it. Okay, so if your body were like a vessel and you were to pour water into that, it would fill up the bottom, the middle, and then the top. And that's how we want to breathe. First we fill the bottom, the middle, and then the top. So you take your fingertips and you touch just right underneath your shoulders, right underneath your clavicles. And then the last bit of breath comes in here. So 1, 2, 3. And you see that lift, called clavicle lift, right at the top. And that expands the rib cage up and out this way. So the image that I want people to, at home, to think about, think of your body from the waist up like a barrel. And as you breathe in, the bottom of the barrel expands, the middle of the barrel expands 360 degrees, and then the barrel expands and even expands up.
How long should we do this on a daily basis?
If you did this for 5 minutes a day, this would change the way your body naturally breathes for the rest of the day. They say 1 minute of conscious breathing will last about an hour. Okay, so if you do it for 5 minutes, it's going to last you about 5 hours. So what I tell people is if you can do it You know, a little bit in the morning, a little bit in the midday, a little bit in the evening, it lasts you your entire day. You will literally exchange more oxygen and release more CO2 through the whole day just by 5 minutes of the deep breathing.
Some people breathe so shallowly
Most
that
of us-
they never empty their lungs. and
Exactly.
Get fresh air.
And what happens is that kind of builds up, and then people start coughing, and the immune system gets compromised, and they end up with bronchitis, you know, through the winter time. So this will really help prevent those types of problems as the winter comes.
Help the elderly as well?
Absolutely. I mean, this will do wonders for preventing pneumonia, preventing any compromise of the immune system. One other really simple exercise that you can do is interlace the fingers, and instead of putting the hands, the palms of the hands against the head, you're going to put the knuckles against the head. You breathe in and you open and you look up, and you breathe out and you look down. You breathe in, open, look up. Breathe out and look down. By putting the knuckle of the hand, it lifts the arm out of the underarm.
So you're turning your hand that way?
Yeah, you turn your hands this way.
Oh, okay.
And it's a lot harder to do it that way, but it starts to open up your shoulder and lift these upper ribs.
So do that and turn around.
Yeah, so this is how you typically put your hands
Right.
behind your head. Turn knuckles, face your head, palms away, breathe in, open your arms, and then breathe out and let it relax. So you lift your chest a little bit and look up as you take the breath into the lungs. And this helps to open and actually separate the ribs a little bit and get a little more breathing room in there. This is like stretching out the balloon a little bit so it can expand and contract a little bit better.
And Kane, these seem fairly simplistic and
These are
certainly
super simple.
not difficult to do.
No.
Do these in the airplane. Do these at stoplights. Do these when you have a moment when you're just waiting at the bank. Put your hands over your belly and breathe in. This one, you know, maybe not at the line at the bank, but you know, you can do them in a couple minutes anywhere.
Yeah.
The last one is a little bit more complex, but this is a really nice one. You breathe in, bring the hand up, and let it float down. You breathe in, bring the hand up, and let it float down. It's a basic exercise that you see as like a Tai Chi warm-up. We do it sometimes in yoga for shoulder health. But the idea here is by bringing your arm into the center and out to the side. Again, what am I doing here?
Opening up.
Opening up the lungs, stimulating the musculature of the shoulders, getting the blood flow there. That trickles down and opens up my chest and stimulates my rib cage. So, I mean, you've heard me say this a million times. In yoga, breathing is everything.
Yeah.
If you're breathing deep and slow and full, inhale, exhale, the whole rest of the system gets hyper-oxygenated.
Are there any schools that you know of, Kane, and I'm talking about public schools, that are beginning to teach
You
some
know,
of these
the
practices?
Mountain Oak School here in Prescott's actually, they do some of these types of exercises
They're a
with the
charter.
kids. Yeah, some of the charter schools. I know Montessori in Phoenix does some things like this because what they find is when the oxygen's really flowing in your body, you can think more clearly. You know, so the
And
kids.
if you teach children this, it's a lifelong
It is.
habit.
Yeah, we teach this stuff to our daughter, and yeah, before you take an exam, take a couple deep breaths, get yourself centered and focused, and you're going to do a whole lot better.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm a big proponent of simple. I mean, everything I try to teach is that I could teach this to anybody, from a 10-year-old to an 85-year-old. You can do this. There's no risk of injury. There's no risk of hurting yourself. It's going to strengthen you internally.
And the benefits are so great. It would just seem to me this would be the right thing to implement in senior centers,
Yep.
in public education. It just seems like the right thing to do.
And quick. You don't need to do this for a bunch of months before you get the results. I can measure someone's heart rate and have them do the exercises, and then after they're done, you can see it drop. You can see if someone's stressed out and I have them breathe this way, you can feel their heart rate go down. You can see their eyes kind of calm. From this, they go down to being calm and relaxed. The results are almost immediate. So another quick tip is to do this for just 10-15 seconds, belly, ribs, chest, before you eat. Oftentimes when you eat, you're breathing in your chest. Chest breathing stimulates the sympathetic nervous response, which is a fight and flight response. You don't digest when you're stressed out. Take 5 breaths before you eat and you'll digest a whole lot better too.
Kane, thank you for being here. As
always a
it's
pleasure.
always great to have you.
Yeah.
Don't stay away so long, okay?
Come back soon.